My guest today is a multi-dimensional person. Actually, all my guests are. Uma Sudhindra. I asked her, what do you do? And she had interesting things to say, like she's a real estate agent. She funds startups. More from Uma herself.
Thanks for having me on the show, Chaya. I think I love the title. It says it's my life.
Yeah.
I think it takes a long time for people to realize that they need to lead their own lives. Mm-hmm. Somewhere people get lost. They don't realize that their life is their life.
Okay.
But
they're brought up to believe that their life, they owe everything to, keeping their parents happy, following the diktats of society, isn't it?
Yeah. When I say it's good to lead your own life, it doesn't mean you do that at the cost of making your parents unhappy. Okay. I won't say too much about keeping society happy because you can't keep everyone happy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a given. Okay. But by and large, something that I have realized, and this is something that was a gift to me when I was growing up. My parents allowed me to make my own decisions. I think one of the best gifts that I have got from them is the ability to make my own decisions. I was pushed into making my own decisions, and my parents would never ever succumb to my statement saying, "You tell me what I need to do." Okay. They said, and they were very clear. They said, listen, you have brains, you're being educated. Okay. Good, bad, ugly, we take care of it subsequently. But please make up your mind. It's your mind, your decision, your life. Because you need to experience the effect of that decision. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
and be accountable for whatever.
And be accountable. Yeah.
But we are there if you need us.
Absolutely. So I think, that really helped me become who I am today. Okay. It's actually shaped a lot of things in my life, the ability to take decisions and to move on, whether, it's a painful moving on or a nice, happy moving on. That really doesn't make a difference. But decision taken, move on. Don't wallow in self-pity, regret, and all of that.
Learn from the experience.
Yeah, learn from the experience. I think that has been a fantastic, education by itself.
Uma, there is all this thing about empowerment for women, education, employment for empowerment. I don't find many women who are educated, who are employed, being very empowered. The 3 E's not necessarily go together. But I think what really empowers a woman is this ability to make her own decision.
I agree with you 100%. In fact, we started running an NGO. We started an NGO last year. Mm-hmm. 4 friends got together, like-minded again. Okay. And the whole idea was to create an empowerment path for women so that they become self-employed. Mm-hmm. More than becoming employed anywhere, it was the concept of getting them self-employed at whatever levels they are at, So, and the NGO is called I'm Every Woman. Okay. Just to give you a quick background to I'm Every Woman, it all started with this idea that a friend of mine called Priya Vardarajan had. Priya basically started this as a blog. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she called me up thanks to a common friend we have, Sudha Shetty. And Sudha introduced me to Priya, and Priya said, I'd like to interview you for my blog, and it's called I'm Every Woman. And I said, why would you want to interview me? I mean, she said, listen, there are a lot of unsung heroines out there who've done, good stuff in life and who've impacted at least, 2 or 3 people. And that's the whole idea of I'm Every Woman. I'm Every Woman as an NGO was born. Okay. And we said, we're going to make this a platform to empower women to be self-employed. Okay. And one of the things that we have started off as part of that entire process is an initiative that Priya launched about 8 months back. Mm-hmm. And we call this initiative Durga. Okay. Durga is basically to enable women, girls and women, young girls and women, right from the age of 12 onwards, in terms of protection, self-protection.
Okay.
Okay. So there's no great martial arts stuff that we teach women out there. It's an interactive session that we run. It's like a 2-hour workshop that's run where we talk about what are some of those subtle and overt situations where women get harassed.
Okay.
And how do they deal with those situations?
Even at home, at work,
and
at
work,
society.
in public places, in society.
Okay.
Could be anywhere. Okay. And we've covered about 200 odd women in
And
Bangalore.
where do you source them?
These are colleges, educational institutions. Basically, we also do open workshops, and we invite and the whole lot of it happens through social media and word of mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And because that's the most powerful thing that we found out, and one thing leads to another. So in the last 6.5, 7 months, we've done about 200 plus women, and this year, 2014, we really want to target about 5,000 women, to get covered under the umbrella of Durga. And the idea
Does it have a structured program?
Yes,
Durga?
it is.
Yeah.
It is a structured workshop. So we take them through, there's a little bit of theater that gets introduced. So people actually open up and start sharing what their experiences have been. And then because it's interactive, the solutions come from the participants themselves. Because you understand that in any harassment case, there is no, you don't have regular steps in terms of, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It is what you do best at that given moment. Whatever your brain is telling you, whatever your mind is telling you, that's what you act on, So there's no right, wrong, or you should have done this kind of
There's no blanket formula.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no blanket formula, like you said. So the interaction brings out how different people react to situations.
It also makes them think.
It does. So if I'm reacting in a particular way and you're reacting in another way, it helps both of us think what can work, given our situation and circumstances. So Durga is an initiative we've started that way.
Okay.
We also do mentoring for women who want to become entrepreneurs. Okay. And it's more like a one-stop platform where, let's say I have an idea to become an entrepreneur, but I really don't know how to go about the whole process. Okay. So there's a legal angle to it. There's a financial angle to it. There is, an infrastructure angle to it. Do I do it from home? Do I need to, build up office space, etc., etc.? So we have a panel of women who, are ready to give their services, at a very nominal cost. Because after all, startups don't have that kind of money, and we basically work with women from all walks of life, from different levels in society, so they can come and use these services as and when they want. So that's basically what Every Woman is doing at this point of time. And hopefully we'll take this cause to a bigger level this year and the next year, 2014.
So do you have a place where you have an office or?
No, we don't really have a set office as such, because currently the 4 of us who are running this, it's basically a virtual NGO. Okay. But yes, we do have our monthly meetings. We do have, Durga initiatives that happen on a very regular basis. So these initiatives and these meetings happen from different parts of the city at this point of time, which is
good.
Also to make it more flexible, for people to come and attend wherever it's possible. So that's the whole idea.
And where do you do it? Do you hire a place? Or?
Yep, we do. So sometimes it happens, Bowring Club, Bangalore Club, Jaga on Double Road, so there are a variety of places that we use to make it happen. Sometimes it happens from homes also, because that becomes a little more convenient for the women to gather and, take things forward. So that's where it is at this point of time. And eventually we're hoping to, expand this into other cities and, get more women to work with us on this shared platform. The final objective being empowerment more from a, emotional and a mental perspective. Okay. But we recognize the fact that the roots of that also happen when a woman is financially independent.
So how do you empower them by financial independence? How do you give them skill training programs?
Yes,
like that.
Skill training programs happen. There are, we've looked at working with women who do vocational training. There are, like, for example, I met this very nice lady who basically runs a stained glass painting business. She does it on a commercial basis. Okay. And she very nicely opened up her doors and she said, hey, you know what? I like the concept of I'm Every Woman. And I'd love to train people who want to get trained in this space. And it is something that they can work from home. We can help them set up the entire thing and, and they can start. And what we could do is become the marketing partners for these people so that we help them market, their things. Whatever they have, painted and created. Yeah. So she's one of them. There's another lady called Kalpana Heblekar who's a very enterprising person who's been running her own NGO in terms of, helping women set themselves up in terms of small businesses, more, small scale cottage industry kinds. So Kalpana is another person we work with closely. So there are, one thing that I realized, Chaya, when we started I'm Every Woman, is that women do want to help. They do want to connect. They do want to help build other women. Okay. The only thing lacking is a structured platform. And we're hoping that I'm Every Woman becomes that structured platform for a lot of women across the country. Eventually, we want to take it to that level and, build it up there.
What do you think? Do you think women have that, I would say, the sustainability that any business or anything requires? I feel women lack it. What do you say?
I'll tell you what my experience has been. You're right in terms of sustainability. Okay. My own experience in terms of working with women who are constantly looking for an excuse not to better themselves.
Exactly.
Okay. And, like someone I know said, this is a disease called excusitis, which hits women more than men in some cases. Okay. I think to that extent, women are their worst enemies there. And
they don't allow themselves to flower.
Yeah, they don't. No? And somewhere they just love to wallow in self-pity.
Yeah. It makes them feel the center of attraction, because the minute you have a tear in your eye and you look really pathetic, everybody crowds around you.
Yeah. But I and this is what I'd like to share with all the women out there who are listening to this program, at least, is while you wallow in self-pity, it is a way to attract attention, I agree. But that attention is going to be very short-lived.
Because nobody likes a weeping woman.
Yeah, nobody likes a weeping woman. Nobody likes to see a sad face around all the time. My message out there to all the women is go out there, do something for yourself, become strong, and then you'll see people getting attracted to you naturally. It's a very natural process, because as it is, there is enough negativity out there in the world. Okay, and if you're just going to add to it by wallowing in self-pity and, creating this entire negative aura around you, you're not doing anybody any good. And secondly, if you are a mother and you have kids around the house, what is the impact that you are creating for your family and your children? What is the legacy that you're leaving for the next generation then? They're going to grow up like that. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and my effort, my endeavor has always been to, to show them that life is optimism. Life is not pessimism. I mean, yes, you need to be you need to be realistic. You need to have some realistic approach to life, but go out there, dream. I mean, it's your life. End of the day, you need to live it the way you want to live it on your terms. And that you can only do if you want to go out there and achieve something for yourself.
If you have a goal for yourself.
Absolutely. It just defeats the entire aspect of getting out there and getting educated and exposed.
Reaching out. They don't want to reach out.
It's a very sad thing, but surprisingly, I've also found out that a lot of men are like that too.
You see, men cannot afford to be like that. So they're kind of pushed by their wives, by their mother, by society. So they have to go out and earn that bread and butter and come in.
Yeah, but then,
women don't have that compulsion.
Women don't have that compulsion. That's true. Which I think is a very, what can I say? A sad state of affairs. If we also become responsible for fostering that feeling, that it's okay if you don't want to earn a living, go marry a rich guy or go marry a guy. I mean, whichever guy you marry is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's a wrong message to send across to people, and the one thing that I remember when I got married and I was between jobs at that point of time because I moved from Delhi to Bangalore and the only thing, and my husband and I were, we were talking about women working after getting married and I asked him, I said, so do you really have this thing that women should work or shouldn't work? Are you very, very particular about this? And I'll never forget what he told me. He said, you got educated for a reason. Okay. And your parents have put in that effort. My parents have put in the effort for me to get educated. Okay. And you owe something to yourself because of that. That's one part of it. And two, if you sit at home or if I sit at home, we're going to be a burden on the national economy.
But there are a whole lot of women out there, excuse-itis that you spoke about. They'll give the excuse, oh, my husband doesn't let me do it. My mother-in-law won't let me do it. My son is doing 10th standard, so I must help him. We've got a number of excuses.
True. Using your children, using your husband, using
and the
your
mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law.
Big time.
Yeah. I think it's one of the worst things you can do because if you ask any child till they're about maybe 7-8 years old, they would probably need you around and but after that it also depends on how you are allowing them their space, giving them their liberty, like I said earlier on, to take their decisions. Good, bad, ugly. Child doesn't do homework for 2 days. That's all right. Third day, he's going to get punished. And the child will realize himself or herself why homework is important. It's funny. One of the things that my daughters always crib now, my older one's 21 and my younger one's going to be 18 next week. Mm-hmm. They come back with this statement saying, you've never been a regular mom.
Okay.
And I asked them once, I said, what is a regular mom? I've been a mom the way I know how a mom should be, So they said, no, you never checked our pencil boxes. You never checked our bags. You didn't, dig in to find out what exactly we've been up to in class and, things like that. You really didn't probe too much, Ma. So I said, listen, when you came and shared everything,
why should I probe?
Yeah, where is the need for me to probe? I mean, you would come back and you would tell me what happened in class, what this girl did, what that boy did, whom did the teacher scold, who was punished, who was not punished, etc., etc. Now, why would I want to probe more than that? I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't make sense. So they said, no, but this is what my friends' moms do. I mean, they keep asking them 120 questions about,
And instead of feeling, thank God my mom doesn't do it, they feel, okay, we are not conforming.
Absolutely. They were like, very boring mom you are. There's no drama.
Okay, drama they want.
So I said, okay, you want drama? I'll give you different kinds of drama then, but let's not get into that space. But I think, one of the things that I have personally seen, mothers just end up clinging on so much to their children.
That's because they don't have anything else to cling on to. Husband is very, he's not available to cling to.
Correct.
And the kids are there only.
Yeah.
And it gives them a sense of self-importance.
I agree. Yeah. I agree there.
Yeah.
And I think that's not the right way of getting self-importance.
Well, if nobody gives you importance, you got to take it yourself.
Yeah. So,
and one way of getting importance is to, I think, like you said, let go, give them their space. Let them come to you rather than you go to them all the time. You
going to them all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. So, I mean...
And anyway, working moms don't have time.
Working moms don't. Honestly, they don't. Yeah. They don't. Yeah, but then that's not to say that, they're not bothered. A lot of times I've heard the non-working moms make the statement, oh, she won't be too bothered about her kids. But I said, wow, what makes you say that? I mean, every mom is bothered about her kids, I mean, she wants the best, which is probably why she's going out there and working and doing something different, so that she can add to whatever
the family kitty.
Yeah, the family needs at that point of time. So I think that's the financial part of it. Okay, but I think more than the financial part of it, it's somewhere out here in the mind. In it's a matter of what kind of an example do I want to be for my children? Okay. If only more women started thinking that way.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how many women think like that?
That would really, really help a lot of people. But
for you to say, for a mom to say, what kind of example am I laying for my child? She should also have an example, no?
I agree with you.
So where does she draw her role model from? Today there are no role models around.
I agree with you.
You can't make your mother a role model because she belongs to a different era altogether.
True.
You can't make film stars your role model because that's the only ones which are projected by media.
I agree. Which is where I think women ought to go out and network a lot more.
That's it. You've used that word. They don't network.
They just don't.
Men do. Men network beautifully.
Men do. I think somewhere over a period of time, what started off as an occupational hazard for men today has become a way of life.
Yeah. And they do it very well.
And they do it extremely well. Yeah.
In a fun way. They'll go and have a beer together. They go and play golf together.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which is what I think, as women, we really don't, So some of the things that we end up doing as friends, set of friends that I work with, I generally have a good time. So I have these different groups that I network with.
Who do different things.
Who do different things. So so in the building, in the place where I live, we have a music group. Okay, so we all meet because that's the common platform that binds us together, and we have great fun. So we do our little sing-song sessions, and we participate in all the building activities, the commercials, the cultural stuff that happens. Yeah, all of that. So that's one group that really enjoys coming together and doing some fun stuff as far as music is concerned. And then I have this entire set of school friends and college friends that just bond because we studied together. You don't need a reason there.
Absolutely.
But I've also realized that a lot of work gets done through that bonding. Okay, so the network actually works, from that perspective. And then there's this bunch of people that I work with more from a professional perspective. They're business partners, they're colleagues, ex-colleagues, etc., etc. So we bond at a completely different level. And I've, the last year and a half, I've discovered this fantastic networking platform called Meetup.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So Meetup gives you the opportunity to sink into whatever, space you want to sink in. And
Meetup books, Meetup.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Little write-up that I read about women over 40 and, how comfortable and confident they are. And I could relate to every word that was said in that article. It's a very nice piece that I read. I mean, a woman over 40 is not somebody who's going to wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you what's on your mind. She needs her sleep as much as you need your sleep.
Absolutely. So, and whatever's on your mind, it's your mind.
It's your mind. So she couldn't be bothered because she's got 10 things on her mind too. So I think, yeah.
But Uma, there is another set of women who are after 40. The kids have grown up. Husband is very busy with his career. They get the loneliness syndrome, as they call it.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with them. So there are a whole lot of them out there.
And secondly, why would the wife listen to someone like us? I mean,
she says, "Hey, I want my husband. Who are you?"
I know, who are you? You're not the substitute there. So
I tell you, today I think there is a wide range of women. What do you say?
Oh yeah. I think.
So when they say women empowerment, I always say you cannot empower women. You can only empower a woman.
And it can't be a mass movement. It's not like one of those brigades where you just get out and say, okay, this is the moment, and this is how we're going to do it. Because, like you said, there's no one single formula for all the women out there. You can have different kinds of formulae there, but and even there, the permutation combination changes depending on what the background is for that particular lady.
Now we're going to talk about a less complicated subject, about real estate in which she dabbles. Okay, what does that mean?
Okay.
Do you buy and sell land, or do you...
Multiple things, actually.
Okay.
Real estate happened for me more as a... It started as a fascination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I started with, small investments on my own, where you would pick up a piece of land and,
Oh, wow.
hold on to it and then sell it off after a certain point.
Too much.
So,
Okay.
so that's how it basically started for me.
Uh-huh.
And what made sense a couple of years, actually about 4.5 years back, was when I attended a webinar conducted by Robert Kiyosaki on how to build a business in real estate. And he very clearly says that if you have to become a wealthy person, if you have to look at financial freedom, okay, there are 3 things that you should be clearly looking at. One is what he calls as paper assets, okay, which is your typical, your
Money.
deposits and mutual funds and, all of that. That's 1%. The second percentage is real estate. And the third percentage is investing in companies and in businesses, basically. Okay. And it made a lot of sense. That webinar made a lot of sense to me. And that's where my interest in real estate triggered off. And last year, along with 3 of my business partners, we formed a company which is currently headquartered out of Mysore for us, because 2 of my partners are there.
Okay.
And 2 of us are here in Bangalore. So we started off this entire, innings in real estate, so to speak.
Okay. Do you have a name for it?
Yes, the company is called MCIL. It stands for Morcon India Limited.
Okay.
And we basically work at 2 different levels. One is asset reconstruction, and the other is, of course, developmental work and marketing work for different projects that we are involved in. So we do work with banks for properties that come up on the auction space.
Oh, okay.
So that's one part of it.
So that at least you're sure about the paperwork and everything for that.
Absolutely.
Because that's a very dicey thing right now, is it?
In the real estate space, that's the only thing that one needs to be careful about is your documentation needs to be in place.
But through the bank, it's for sure.
They do the due diligence. Right. So they have a team that actually works on the entire thing. So that makes life a little more easier for, people like us who are in that space. And then, of course, we do developmental work in terms of layouts and, we're looking at starting a gated community in Mysore itself. We're looking at, we do bulk marketing projects for the bigger builders when they come up with, apartments or villaments or villa projects in different places. So we take up that initiative and do bulk marketing for them and, do promotional activities and, work with them to...
But how is it? Because
build.
I see lots and lots of apartments just locked up.
Yeah. It is. It's a tough market out there. Tough market mainly because while it's a great investment space, a lot of people don't really understand how to make their investments in real estate. Okay. Most people look at a capital gain investment.
Okay.
Okay.
You keep it and 3 years later.
Keep it and 3 years, 2 years, 5 years down the line, you dispose it off and then you get this huge chunk of capital which you again reinvest and, build it on from there. My take is you should have a healthy mix of both capital gain and cash flow component happening as far as the real estate is concerned. And that's where MCIL basically comes into picture, where we advise our investors and customers. We have both these categories who come to us. We tell them that what is the end objective of you coming with this amount? Okay. So if your amount is to generate a cash flow for yourselves, then there is a very different approach to the entire business, investment business. But if it is, you come in as a customer and you're looking for a property that you want either, for yourself or, keep it for a while and dispose it off, then your approach is very different. So we work on that platform. Another thing that we've, very recently started off, which is about 7-8 months back is the entire concept of getting smaller investors on board. Okay. See, today, people may not have 30-40 lakhs to invest in one shot.
Correct.
Okay. But people would definitely have 2 to 5 lakhs. Okay.
Sure.
Now, with 2 to 5 lakhs, you can't hope to buy property completely in your name. Okay. So what we do is we put a bunch of investors together like that and then pick up a property, which is a shared property. Okay. And then, dispose off the property. That becomes our responsibility eventually. Okay.
And then share the loot.
And then share the profits with them, So a lot of people...
Is it something like your stock exchange also now?
Yep.
Same way? Invest in and...
Same way, absolutely the same way.
But again, you must be very sure about the paperwork,
correct,
right?
So which is where we work with certain people in the real estate space itself, people who know what the documentation involved is required, and people who know whether it's it's a land worth investing in or it's a project worth investing in. So the due diligence is done by a set of people who are already part of the industry, and it is their specialty.
Expertise. Okay.
Yeah, it's their expertise. So we work with such people, and then we put together a band of these small investors.
And get them a profit.
And then get them a profit.
Has it worked, Uma? Have you had
successful? It has. So we typically do projects which are 18 to 24 months because it does. I mean, to grow money does take time. It doesn't grow overnight. So we basically look at something like that, and then we work on certain projects which we know can deliver. Because a lot of times what happens. You may tie up with a particular builder, but if the builder is not sure of delivering the project at the given time, then that your end customer is not going to benefit.
Yeah.
So the due diligence for us becomes very important from that perspective. The focus is on creating that profit margin for the investor. And again, this is a business that has basically grown because of word of mouth for us. So,
you also said earlier that you fund startups.
Yep.
So what kind of startups do you fund?
Currently, a fashion house. Okay.
Do you do this as to encourage young entrepreneurs?
I do. See, this is more from a personal perspective that I do. Nothing to do with, the real estate business or, my e-commerce business. Nothing to do with any of those. Okay. This is more as an individual that I do these investments. And again, it's been a passion for a very long time. Now, currently, a small technology firm, a fashion house, are two startups that I'm funding personally at this point of time. So, yeah.
And what is this e-commerce that you do?
Okay, e-commerce is where I'm associated with a multinational firm. Basically, set up distributors for them across the world. It's part e-commerce and part direct selling.
Okay.
So that's another business that occupies a lot of my time. We basically work in teams as far as this business is concerned. So I have teams that work out of India, work out of different countries outside.
Is it an MLM kind of a thing?
Yes, it is, but not in the traditional MLM sense. It's definitely part of the direct selling industry. Very successfully run organization for the last 15 years, and my learning from that business has been tremendous. Okay. And the kind of people I've met because of that business, So a lot of my entrepreneurial mentoring happens from people in that business for me. So, and it's also helped me build a very large network.
Sure.
So, favorite questions that I ask people is, why are you doing whatever it is that you're doing right now? And most people don't have a clear answer for that. I would say about 95% don't have a clear answer.
They don't have. Life is all about asking the right questions and the answers. Thank you so much, Uma. We could have spoken for hours about these subjects because there's so much to speak about them. But thank you so much for sparing your time and being with us at Radio Wala.